Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Nur Akila binti Zainal Hairuzi. My metric number is 10DPM24F1021. And today I will presenting about an important industrial relation case involving HSBC Bank Malaysia Berhad and the National Union of Bank Employees, also known as NUBE. This case is a good example to understand how ethical and legal principles are applied in human resources management, especially when it comes to the relationship between employers and trade union. Let me start by giving an overview of HSBC Bank Malaysia Berhad. HSBC is one of the largest and oldest international banks operating in Malaysia. The bank first established its presence in Malaysia back in 1884, and since then, it has grown to become one of the country's leading financial institutions. HSBC offers a wide range of services including personal banking, business banking, corporate finance, investment, and wealth management. The bank employs thousands of people across its branch and office in Malaysia. Like many other big organizations, HSBC has to ensure that its human resources practice follow both ethical standards and labor laws to maintain good relationship with employees and trade unions. Next, let's look at the background of the National Union of Bank Employees, or NUBE. NUBE is one of the most active trade unions in Malaysia. It represents non-executive employees in the banking industry, meaning employees who work in clerical, administrative, and customer service positions. The main role of NUBE is to protect and promote the rights of its members. The union negotiates collective agreement with banks, ensure fair working conditions, and provide support when employees face unfair treatment. Now, let's move on the purpose of this case study. This case focus on a dispute between HSBC Bank Malaysia Berhad and an officer from NUBE. The issue began when the employee, who was also a union representative, participated in a protest and made critical public statement about the bank on social media, including posts with the hashtag HSBCliar. Following this, the bank decided to dismiss the employee, claiming it was misconduct. However, NUBE argued that the employee's actions were part of legitimate trade union activity, protected under the Industrial Relations Act 1967. The case was brought to the Industrial Court, which ruled that HSBC had dismissed the employee without just cause or excuse. The court stated that the employee's participation in picketing and making public statements were lawful activity related to the trade union's effort to resolve ongoing disputes. This decision emphasized an important principle that employers cannot discipline or dismiss a union representative for engaging in lawful and peaceful union activities, even if those actions are critical of the employer.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Antasha Anur binti Syamsu Anwar. My matrix number is 01DPM24F1025. Today, I will be presenting about an industrial dispute case involving HSBC Bank Malaysia Berhad and an officer from the National Union of Bank Employees, also known as NUBE. This case began when the bank dismissed an employee who had participated in picketing and industrial action related to an ongoing trade dispute. During the protest, the employee made critical public statements and posted on social media using hashtags such as #HSBCliar to express dissatisfaction with the employer's action. HSBC viewed this behavior as misconduct, arguing that the employee's public criticism was inappropriate and harmful to the company's image. However, the union disagreed, claiming that the employee's actions were part of legitimate trade union activity, which is protected under Malaysian labor law. Due to the disagreement, the case was brought before the industrial court to determine whether the dismissal was lawful or if it violated the employee's right to participate in trade union activities. In summary, this dispute highlights the delicate balance between an employee's right to protect its reputation and an employee's freedom of expression within union activities. It also emphasized how industrial courts play a vital role in ensuring fairness and justice in employment relations. Now that we have understood the background of the dispute, let's look at the key problems and causes that emerge from this case. There are three main issues that can be identified. Number one is employee misconduct versus protected trade union activity. The first issue is whether the employee's actions were misconduct or part of protected union activity. HSBC said the employee's social media posts and public criticism were misconduct that justified dismissal. But the employee argued it was a lawful action to raise concerns about trade dispute. This raised the question, where should we draw the line between misconduct and employee rights? Problem number two is impact of social media on industrial dispute. The second issue is the role of social media. The employee used hashtag like hashtag HSBCLaya, which made the dispute public and affected the bank's image. Social media can make such issues spread quickly, but it also gives employees a voice to share their side. So the court had to balance freedom of expression and protection of the employee's reputation. Number three is employees' authority versus statutory employee right. The third issue is about employer authority and employee right. Employees have the right to maintain discipline and protect their image. However, employees are also protected under the Industrial Relations Act 1967. This shows the tension between management control and workers' rights, especially when union activities are involved. We are now looking at the legal rules that apply to the situation. There are two main parts, the law itself and the court's interpretation. The first part involves the law. Industrial Relations Act 1967, the Industrial Relations Act of 1967 is the core labor law. It does three crucial things. First one is protect employees. It stops employees from being fired or punished just because they took part in lawful industrial action like a strike or protest. Second one is encourage good relation. It pushes employers and employees to have a harmonious relationship. The last one is sets negotiation rules. It provides the rules for collective bargaining, the process of negotiation between the union and the company. The second part involves the court ruling. Case principle established. Now, let's look at how the court applied this law in a real-world case which involved HSBC. This ruling sets a precedent. The industrial court ruled that dismissal of the employee was unfair. It was without just cause or excuse. The court made it very clear that aggressive but lawful actions taken during a genuine union dispute are protected trade union activities. The simple takeaway here is if a union's actions are within the law, even if they are firm or aggressive, the employees are legally protected from being disciplined or fired. That's all from me. I will pass this presentation to the next person.
My name is Nurdana Huda and my metric number is F1023. Now I will explain about involvement and process. Action taken by the employee and union. Employees and union plays an important role in ensuring fair treatment and protecting workers. Right? Their action often include the first one, filing complaints or grievances. When an employee faces unfair treatment, discrimination, or wrongful dismissal, they can file a formal complaint to HR department or through the union. And the second one, negotiation and collective bargaining. Union negotiate with employers for better wage, working condition, and benefit on behalf of employees. The third one is industrial action. If negotiation fail, employees or union may take action such as strike, go slows, or picketing as allowed by law. Seeking legal redress. Employees or union may report the issue to authorities such as the Department of Industrial Relations or file case in industrial court. Talk about employer response. The employer or HR department must respond promptly and fairly. Their action usually include the first one, internal investigation. HR investigate complaints to determine the fact and possible policy violation. The second one, mediation or discussion. Employers may hold meeting with the employee or union to resolve issues peacefully. The third one is corrective action. If the employee's claim is valid, the employer may take actions such as reinstatement, compensation, or change in policy. The fourth one, disciplinary measures. If the employee is found to have violated rules, HR may issue warnings, suspensions, or dismissal according to company policy. And the last one, documentation. Every step must be documented properly to ensure transparency and legal compliance. Industrial Court. The Industrial Court serves as an independent body that resolves disputes between employers and employees when internal efforts fail. The first one, hearing of cases. The court listens to both parties' argument and examine evidence. The second one, mediation and settlement. The court may encourage settlement before formal judgment. The third one is judgment and awards. The court can order reinstatement, compensation, or declare a dismissal as fair or unfair. The fourth one, enforcement of law. Decisions made by the Industrial Court are legally binding under the Industrial Relations Act 1967 Malaysia or similar national laws. Legal and ethical consideration. Both employers and employees must act within the boundaries of labor law and ethical standards. The first one, legal consideration. Comply with the Employment Act 1955, Industrial Relations Act 1967, and Trade Union Act 1959. Next one, ensure fair dismissal, non-discrimination, and equal pay for equal work. Then, follow due process during investigation and disciplinary action. The second one is ethical consideration. Maintain confidentiality of employee information. The next one, practice fairness, transparency, and respect for employee rights. Then, avoid retaliation against employees who raise grievances. And the last one, promote a safe, inclusive, and respectful workplace.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Nabila Jirahani binti Nasaruddin. My matric number F1028. Next, let's look at the court decision and outcome of this case. The Industrial Court found that the employee action were part of legitimate trade union activities. The court also rules the bank violated the Industrial Relations Act 1967 when it dismissed the employee for taking part in protest union activities. So, the dismissal was considered unfair and unjustified. As for the outcome, the court dismissed HSBC claim and upheld the employee right. This decision reinforces that employee cannot punish or dismiss employee for being involved in lawful union activities. From this case, there are several implications for both the employer and the employees. For the employer, which is HSBC Bank, they must respect the right of employee to join and participate in union activities. They also need to follow proper disciplinary procedures and make sure all action comply with the industrial relationship and make sure all action comply with the Industrial Relations Act. Additionally, the court reminded that public criticism by union member is not considered misconduct if done lawfully. Meanwhile, for employee or union member, they are encouraged to use lawful channels such as picketing, striking, or negotiation to express dispute. They also gain strong protection under the Industrial Relations Act, and this case help to strengthen their confidence in union representation and freedom of expression. In this case, help to strengthen their confidence in union representation and freedom of expression. Finally, here are the lessons learned from this case. Under legal protection, we see that employees have strong rights when taking part in lawful trade union activities, including the right to join and participate without fear of retaliation. So next, employee. Employer awareness. Company must understand their limit when disciplining employee involves in union matter, because taking wrongful action can lead to claim of unfair dismissal and compensation. For industrial harmony, open communication and mediation are key. Yearly discussion and negotiation can prevent dispute from escalating into legal cases. And lastly, ethical HR practice. HR manager must act fairly and consistently. They should respect employee right to organize and make sure all action follow ethical and legal standard under the Industrial Relations Act 1967. So that's all from me. Now I will pass to the next presenter.
Now to conclude my presentation, I would like to summarize the key points from the case and share some important lessons about the ethical and legal compliance in industrial relations. To result, this case involved a conflict between HSBC Bank Malaysia Berhad, one of the country's leading financial institutions, and an officer from the National Union Bank Employees or NUBE. The issue started when the employee, who was also a union representative, took part in union activities such as picketing and making public statements criticizing the bank for unresolved trade dispute. The bank viewed this action as misconduct and decided to terminate the employee service. This case also highlighted the strong role of NUBE in defending the right of employee and ensuring the union members are treated fairly. According to the law, the industrial court judgment helped protect the independence of union and supported fair industrial practice in Malaysia. So, in conclusion, the case between HSBC and NUBE teach us that ethical and legal compliance are not just rules to follow. They are essential values that build trust and fairness in the workplace. Employers should recognize the importance of trade unions as partners in improving working conditions and communication. At the same time, employees should use their right wisely to achieve justice without creating unnecessary conflict. Ultimately, good industrial relation depends on mutual respect, open communication, and a balance between organizational goals and employee welfare. When both parties cooperate and act ethically, it not only prevents dispute but also contributes to the success and stability of the organization. So, as future professionals and managers, we must always remember that ethical decision making and respect for the law are the foundation of health workplace. Thank you.